it would cut you really badly.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Bloody fingers.
Trust me, I've spent many a night in an ER, but it's totally worth it.
Have you ever had a job that repeatedly landed you in the ER and you kept doing it? This year I went to the NAMM show, which is a massive, incredibly loud convention for musicians. Everywhere you go, there are noise-making machines, guitars, drums, flutes, clarinets, saxophones, like every instrument you could imagine. But on the edge of the showroom floor, near one of the exits, I found something different. I found a woman who takes these beautiful instruments, strips them down, and then covers them in hundreds of pieces of razor-sharp glass. She's completely self-taught. She's been doing this for about 16 years, and she has the ER bills to prove it. Welcome to Goats and Gowns. We are here with Amy from Glass Axes, and she has made these beautiful guitars that we have sitting here. Amy, tell us about them.
Well, it's all hand-cut glass. I use the guitars as a canvas. So I strip them down and then I hand cut the glass. I use big sheets of glass, hand cut it to the design that I want, and then adhere it to the guitar. There's a lot of processes that are involved, in the creation of them. But at the end of the day, they're pretty cool and pretty unique, and they're all one of a kind.
Do you color the glass too?
No. So the glass comes in various colors, various, tints, whether it's iridescent, whether it's flat. And then I cut it up and into whatever design that I want to create. And it's a pretty cool piece of artwork.
How do you decide the guitar that goes underneath?
Well, a lot of my work is commission based.
Okay.
So people will come and they'll, ask me, I want this, or I like this band, or I like this sports team, and I try to, marry the guitar with whatever I'm creating. So like if it's a rock band, I really like using the electric. Yeah. And then I try to marry the type of guitar that's used for maybe whatever album they want to recreate. Like if they have a certain design from an artist's album, I try to use the guitar that was used in that album. Yeah. It's you can't really do that with acoustics, but you can with electrics, and there's so many different designs with electrics, which is really cool. But for acoustics, I just love the shape of a guitar.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what led me to use it as my canvas.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Show us Jeffrey, if you'll come over, just kind of point to the different materials and tell us what's what on.
Yeah, of course. So all of this is hand cut glass from sheets. So it's a mixture of different finishes. So there's the iridescent that you see here, and then this is just a flat glass. This is actually a wood piece that is covered in glass and then adhered to the guitar. These are dichroic pieces of glass. Yes. So they come in like long rods, and then I cut them, depending on how I want the design to work. This is crushed glass. It's called frit. So it's a mixture of white, translucent, frit, also incorporating dichroic glass into it to give it that iridescence and the shine.
Yeah.
And it's also probably about 3 to 4 layers of that particular glass.
So as you build up,
because you build up to be able to get the true color of the glass, it's translucent. So when you first put the first layer, you're seeing like kind of a really light version of what you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
And so, like, for example, on the blue glass, this is like 3-4 layers of that glass to be able to get that color. Yeah,
that's
exactly. And then I finish it with, I try to use as little grout as possible because I hate grout. It's the worst part of the process. But yeah, so the crevices of, I try to close them up with either grout or crushed glass if I can. And then the edges are always finished with grout. And then I put, this particular has a gold leaf on top of it. And then on top of the gold leaf is resin.
Okay.
Because resin gives it a solid, like almost like concrete base.
Yeah.
So it can't like crumble or discolor over time. Yeah.
What first gave you the idea to say, hey, I'm going to put some glass on a guitar?
Right. I've always loved the shape of a guitar. I think it's just beautiful. It's sexy. It's bold. It's, all the things I love about it. But I really loved the idea of using it as a canvas as opposed to just a square or a round that you just throw up on a wall. And then I've always loved glass ever since I was little. And I'm self-taught. So, it started as a hobby and I just kind of messed around with it. And, here we are 16 years later. And
very cool.
This is the finished product. So yeah.
These guitars be played?
They cannot be played. They're just meant to be art pieces.
Yeah.
If you were to play them, obviously the weight of the glass would distort the sound.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it would cut you really badly.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. Trust me, I've spent many a night in an ER, but it's totally worth it. Yeah.
Well, very, very cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
What amazed me most about Amy was actually after I went home and looked at her website. She had an exhibit of her guitar art at the Louvre in Paris, France. Hello, Amy, why didn't you start with that? Her work is a great reminder that if you are passionate about a crazy idea, you just need to start. Who knows where it will take you? You can tell me about your crazy idea in the comments below, and I will see you next time.